Folks, welcome into another edition of SportsbookReview.com's Roundtable. Me and Flash getting it started. We love to talk NFL around the channels, and we love to talk quarterbacks. Today, we're going to focus on the AFC. Flash, a lot of moving parts, a lot of really good quarterbacks in the AFC.
I love the way you're smooth talking me on this table for two, Donny. I don't want this to end. I've been nervous all day about our date. And then you start off with the AFC. And I can't go anywhere without mentioning the AFC East. And I'm looking, and I like the Jets with Sam Darnold. And they've brought in 3 offensive tackles, which means they're going to protect him and they're going to give him time in the pocket. I like that. And I hope that he's one of those young boys that gets a run and he actually succeeds.
Yeah, it's good you picked the AFC that we can talk about right up front, specifically the AFC East, because I'm a big fan of Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold was a very good quarterback in college, young coming out, actually has a quarterback that's supposed to propel him into the future to be a good quarterback, and that's of Adam Gase. We'll see if that turns out, but it's also a nice flash. If we can get a full 16 games, or should I say 17 games in the very near future out of Sam Darnold. No, mononucleosis, let's get back out there, but how do you protect your investment, Flash, in football? You invest in your offensive line. We'll see what some of the, roundabout moves, I should say, that should help him. Wide receivers. Is Le'Veon Bell going to come back and have a pretty good year? Sam Darnold, to me, certainly does have an arrow pointing up, but there's another guy also that I want to talk about in the AFC East, and that's Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. A guy that is super talented, a rocket for an arm, but as we know, always not the most accurate quarterback, specifically going downfield, but they get Stephon Diggs, which opens up the entire field. And to me, Flash, if we're going to talk about a quarterback whose arrow is pointing up, I want a team with a legitimate shot at winning a division. I think the Buffalo Bills can win the AFC East. I like Josh Allen here. Arrow up for me, Flash.
And offense is always the best form of defense, they say. And obviously their defense was outstanding last year and it got them plenty W's. And it's going to go against, obviously, Jarrett Stidham and Brian Hoyer. Now, Brian Hoyer, I think this is a pupil and teacher situation. Brian's 3rd stint at the Patriots. And all it'll be is for him to hold his hand and just make sure that Stidham is the man. I believe that he will start the first game of the season. I mean, the Buffalo Bills are the favourites for me on paper because I don't know. I saw a great quote come out of the Patriots saying that we are putting together a team and not acquiring talent. Bill might just have bit off a little bit more than he can chew in this one, Donny.
Yeah, we're going to spend a lot of off-season talking about the New England Patriots. And finally, because usually, Flash, we're tired of the Patriots, right? We know Bill Belichick. We know Tom Brady. We know they're going to be caught up. We know they're going to play in the AFC title game. They're going to have home field and probably get to the Super Bowl. Probably not going to be the case this year. So I know we're going back and forth with a couple things, and there are hypotheticals that do come in because I myself, Flash, I don't think the Patriots are done yet with their quarterback moves. I know they've added some guys in who've been there before, good locker room guys, know the system. But to me, I think there's another move out there for the Patriots. Do you think that? Or are you saying, hey, you know what? Week 1, let's go. Stidham, get under center.
Yeah, knowing Bill, I'd probably say we're done. But looking about what they need, why would you not go for Jameis Winston? You got 3 young, hungry wide receivers that can go downfield, so you need an arm that's going to be able to connect with them. But I just don't know with Bill, and no one knows. He always keeps you guessing. Listen, he keeps you guessing mid-game. He's the master. But this year, I just look and think, I'm a Patriot through and through, and I want to be seeing it through rose-tinted glasses. But the Bills, for me, they look like they are ready, they're balanced, and they've improved really well. And what about the Dolphins? The Dolphins are being linked with this quarterback, that quarterback, and yet Ryan Fitzpatrick, he connects, and you give him a long stint with the ball, he will put points on the board for you.
No, that's going to be an interesting one to keep an eye on the Dolphins because to me, look, Ryan Fitzpatrick is a great sticky tape guy. And what I mean by that is if he plays well and has some talent around him, he can win football games. We've seen that in the past. But he's not really the guy to me that's going to lead your team into the future. Do they go Tua Tagovailoa early in the draft? Can they move up and make a play in that situation? That's what I want to look at as well. But when we talk about stocks being up, Flash, there's two guys in the AFC right now that you'd be hard-pressed to try to pass over. Both had extremely good years. One, Flash, MVP in the regular season, and the other, MVP of the Super Bowl. You know where we're going. Baltimore, I think, has got a pretty good quarterback in Lamar Jackson, and then Patrick Mahomes out for Kansas City. The arrow only points up for me with both of them, Flash.
Yeah, it's low-hanging fruit, though, Donnie, and it's too easy to mention them. I think Mahomes is far better than Lamar Jackson, to be honest, and I love the way that Lamar Jackson got found out when they put a couple of spies in on him, keep him in the pocket. Where are you going to go? Because what a lot of people don't realise is that he extended plays with his feet, with his athleticism. And I think that people are going to say to him, no, you're not coming out of that pocket. Go and throw the ball. Show us what you got. Mahomes, completely different league. And I'm going to be a little bit contrary here and say I prefer Deshaun Watson over Lamar Jackson.
Now, here's the thing that we're going to get into here, because now we're going to get into some tiers where maybe the quarterback can improve play, but I think the team around them is going to rise to the occasion, specifically with head coaches not being there anymore. And we're going to go to the city, Flash, that's the mistake by the lake, Cleveland Municipal Stadium in the past. They lost their team to Baltimore, but now they're coming back. The Cleveland fans deserve a winner. They are great football fans, and I think this year they might be able to be delivered into the playoffs. Do I like Baker Mayfield? I do like him. Do I love him? No, I don't. But you know what I love for a quarterback? To actually get a semblance of a good coaching staff around him to help him in the defense. Freddie Kitchens was a disaster out there for Baker Mayfield. But now he gets a better coach in Kevin Stefanski. That operation should be a lot smoother. I got the arrow pointing up on Baker Mayfield, not so much, Flash, because I love him at quarterback, but because he's surrounded by guys that will be able to help him this year.
Yeah, I've got it down as conservative throughout this season, and let's not try and shoot the lights out. Let's move the chains, and I think simplicity may well be genius for Baker Mayfield. Remember, this is a side that absolutely ripped the heart out of the Ravens, and basically I think they were the reason that the Ravens adjusted and went on the run that they actually went on. But can you rely on the Browns? And when you really need to make that play, do you want Baker Mayfield to be that man? I'm not so sure, Donnie. But the big one I want to say going down is Big Ben and the Steelers. First of all, I don't think he sees out the full 16 games. And I just worry that too many teams are going to see him. He's going to be like a rabbit in the headlights, and they are going to rush and really put him under pressure from game one.
Flash, nobody gets younger, and certainly when you're talking about a quarterback with an arm injury and he's old as is, look, we're banking on a lot of what we've seen over the past 3 to 4 years from Ben Roethlisberger. We don't actually know what we're going to get out of him. Of course, you're going to get the tea leaves, and if you read Twitter and Instagram, hey, never feeling better, Flash. Don't we hear that? My arm has never been better. Well, we're going to see a lot to be desired here from those Pittsburgh Steelers. But also keep in mind as well, if we're expecting the Cleveland Browns to level up, if we're expecting the Baltimore Ravens still to be a really good football team, that's going to put a lot on Big Ben to win some of these football games with his arm. I'm not so sure that he'd be able to do it either, but I need to see it out of Big Ben before we can certainly read it. How about this one? I have a team in neutral right now. I loved the move last year for the Tennessee Titans. The move to Tannehill. He was unbelievably good in the regular season, but also you saw once we got to the postseason, started leaning more on the running game, started leaning more on the defense. Sounds a little bit like those San Francisco 49ers, which didn't produce a championship either way. Huge money contract for Tannehill. Do I agree that he should be the starting quarterback of Tennessee? Yes. But is this one of those things, Flash, where maybe Tannehill was really motivated with the move from the Dolphins to the Titans, had some success, and gets the big paycheck? Can they actually improve this year? I don't know about that.
But it depends what Titans we look at, because earlier on in the year I was fading the Titans. I thought that Vrabel was just basically, he was confusing everybody. He was complicating the issue. And then they went on that run. Now, what Titans are everyone going to expect? Are they going to set up for the playoff Titans who were strong? And obviously they ran up against an absolute juggernaut in the end. But I look at them and go, I think that they're going to be hard-pressed to be the side that we saw in the playoffs for the course of the season. What about Marcus Mariota, though, Donnie? Marcus Mariota goes to the Raiders, and I'm thinking, I wouldn't want Marcus Mariota anywhere near my franchise, let alone being my number one pick.
Yeah, he can't be a number one, Flash. I think we're on the same side as that, because if you're looking at Marcus Mariota, doesn't he fit in the mold of, all right, give him a high-paying backup role? Because if I need him to step in, Flash, for a half or for a game or for 2 games, he'd be a good option. You know, mobile's been in the quarter, been a professional before, you know, has had some wins, had some success, but he's certainly not the guy I want to talk about, not the guy that I want to be number one. So it's a little bit baffling to say, well, Carr's going to match up with Mariota and we're going to have a whole quarterback competition. I don't know how that one works out there. Another guy, Flash, I'm going to disagree with you on this one because we need a good disagreement here. Deshaun Watson's arrow, he is a great quarterback, Flash, but I got his arrow looking a little bit like this right now, Flash, going down.
I think you're right in what you're saying, and it pains me to agree with you. But I don't think it's his stock going down. I think it's one of them classic of his team stock may well be going down. I think that he has a class and he has that leadership quality and he can get the job done, and he may well pick up an L or 2 despite him putting up great figures and a great performance, because I don't think the team is as locked as it should be. Before I bore you, let me put the boot into a young one. I know we shouldn't really do it because they're still learning their trade, but Drew Lock at the Broncos, not having them, came in, threw 3 or 4 touchdowns. Everyone was saying he's the new Messiah. Not for me. I've got a star against Drew Lock, and I would be selling his stock.
Flash, I'm going to send you a Drew Lock jersey by the end of this season when the Broncos fight for a playoff spot. We're always going to remember this video, and if it turns out that Drew Lock is not a good football player, I have the ability to erase this video so nobody ever gets to see it again. This is what we do here at SportsbookReview.com. We bring the topics to you. AFC quarterback play. We got a long way till September, and these games get underway. We'll keep you entertained right here on the channel. So if you haven't done so yet, hit the subscribe button, hit the follow. Follow at SBR Sportspicks on Twitter. For Flash and myself, this has been your AFC quarterback update. Take care.
It's been the best day I've had in a long while, Donnie. Thanks, mate.